Well, there we have it. We are now live, and we're just going to give it a few seconds before we get started just to see if we actually get anybody watching this live stream. It's 10 o'clock, and I just want to talk about some news at 10. But first, we're going to need some spectators. Doesn't look like we have anything. Well, the news on the street is Donald Trump has reclassified cannabis. I believe it's medication cannabis in America. Good move, good move. I personally believe. I think a lot of good things will come of that. Will save a lot of people's health, but then at the same time, the drug doesn't necessarily want to be abused, or shall I say, the herb doesn't necessarily want to be abused. In other news that I heard from the internet, apparently the EU are declassifying the regulation on petrol and diesel vehicles for 2035, which means you'll be able to drive about in your lovely little splendid and fantastic diesel and petrol vehicle. I think this is a long time coming. Should have been done. Should have been done. It's definitely something that shouldn't have happened. I think if you realistically look at it, banning the use of diesel and petrol vehicles was an incredibly silly move. Really, maybe they were trying to accelerate the sale of electric vehicles. Who knows? I personally believe something incredibly eerie has been in the tank with the whole situation. The whole situation as far as electric vehicles go. So I think a good thing has been done. Now, where will this affect? Well, I think in the current regime, I think it's inevitable to say if the EU are going to do it, then this current administration are going to do it as well. Our current administration, that is. In other news, the EU have slashed the interest rates right on top of Christmas. That's a little bit of a Brucey bonus for the public. Very, very, very good news for the British people. How that's going to affect things, I think, will only be by a splendid couple of pennies. I don't think it's really going to do us much favour. Now, have you noticed that electricity prices are most definitely on the rise? I've noticed that my smart meter has been going up to the absolute extreme. Let me know what you think about that one. Have you been using more money on electricity and gas over the Christmas period? It always seems to be over the Christmas period that we seem to get smacked in the mouth, punched across the mouth, and the electricity prices seem to rise. I understand that we're using a lot more of it, and also with the gas. The gas, I think, is the number one killer. Absolutely astronomical. Absolutely astronomical. In wrestling news today, British wrestling scene seems to be doing remarkably okay. Attendances have been holding in there throughout the Christmas period. I have heard from some promoters are rather concerned about the future of the industry of British wrestling right now coming into the new year, but that's something that seems to happen every single year. Every single year there is a concern coming into the new year that they're going to hold their own. But I have been told personally from the grapevine that things are doing very well. Now, I've noticed on this stream, I haven't seen anyone joining in. This is the Philip Pole channel. It is a new YouTube channel of mine, like just newly discovered. I don't really think a great deal of people are going to see this thumbnail and they're going to click on it, but we can wait. We can wait. We've got that little bit of news. Now, let me just get myself down and see what else we can find on my dog and bone that might be of an interest. These lives are being done as a little bit of practice, a little bit of fun. I'm practicing doing lives on this channel for my other channels because I feel that like live could be the way forward. It could be a little bit of fun. Toy collector jailed for 26 months after fraudulent activity is what I am reading here. That is in the Shetland Islands. A man from Nottinghamshire has been jailed for 28 months after fraudulently claiming insurance for high value Lego sets. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't think that is fair, but he is of Cotton Street, submitted a number of false claims relating to alleged break ins in the Shetland Islands. Well, that was naughty. Very, very, very obviously naughty. Not a cool thing to do. If you're going to swindle an insurance company, you've got to be prepared that it is going to come back and it is going to haunt you. Well, that is that one. The Osborne family have suffered another heartbreaking loss. That's sad. That's sad to see on here just after Ozzy's death. That's very, very, very sad that they have experienced the loss of another loved one. Well, it's their dog Elvis has sadly passed away. I, for one, personally like the Osbournes. I think they're cool and they're damn right good people, and they don't deserve to be treated like, well, they don't deserve to have those things happen to them. But you could look at it like the dog has gone to be with Ozzy in heaven. So hopefully, like we all do die. We all do die. Hundreds of December drink and drug drivers are arrested in the run up to Christmas. Well, I say more than 200 arrests have been made in the first 2 weeks of December by police forces in the west of England for drink and drug offences. John Cena's wrestling career may be over. Well, we assume that he has just had his last retire. He's just had a retirement match, so we assume that John Cena's wrestling career is now over. So that's not really anything spectacular that I've been given there. The Essex City welcomes back Uber drivers. Uber is welcome back now to Essex. I never knew that it ever went away, to be honest with you. I never knew that Uber ever went away from Essex, but that's pretty cool that the people of Essex can now call themselves out an Uber when they've had a drink. See, if don't drink drive, call yourself an Uber. Call yourself an Uber taxi. Okay, what have we got? Back to wrestling news here. MVP says Tony Khan is just a better person all round than Triple H. Well, I think there's a big difference between the two of them. This is going into the wrestling world now. This show tonight, the News at 10 with Philip Pole, is a mixture of all news worldwide and also news from the wrestling world. Well, MVP, incredibly talented wrestler there, MVP. He's probably going to say that Tony Khan is a better person than Triple H. So I think the inevitable is being said there. Tools worth £80,000 seized. Well, I say tools worth £80,000 seized. So be a little bit careful when you go to an indoor boot sale right now on the run up to Christmas, that the blue lights don't get behind you and you find that the tools you bought your dad, your uncle, or even your auntie or your brother or your cousins for Christmas just happen to be knocked off. Be a little bit careful and be a little bit mindful. Just take a little look at the situation and think, could this be? Could this be? Could this be? Could this be? Knocked off. Okay, let's look at a few other. Oh, we got some news in from the Guardian about the BBC. The BBC, and I can't actually get to that. We won't be saying Putin is waiting to take advantage of today. Um, Let me start again on that one. Putin is waiting to take advantage if today's critical UK Ukraine meeting ends in failure. Thursday is a crucial day for Ukraine's European allies as they look to prove they are still have a major role to play in shaping the future of the conflict, with or without the backing of US President Trump? Well, there's there's an awful lot going on. An awful lot appears to be going on out there, and it's not cool. It's not like war just isn't a very good thing. It isn't a very nice thing. It isn't good for anyone. What I don't understand is how on earth are Russia going to be able to put a tax out there on our country and the rest of Europe if they can't get past Ukraine. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Perhaps they've got another army of soldiers hiding in the mists that are 10 times better than the ones they've got already. That's if Russia actually are looking to strike, or whether we're just being poisoned by the mainstream media. But I think we're heading into dangerous territory right now, regardless what is happening. Don't take the truth from me. I don't know, but don't believe me, but don't believe the mainstream media either. So don't believe any of us. Only believe what God is telling you in your head and your soul, what the truth is. Now let's have a little look, see if we've got more things here that might excite you and entertain you. We'll just go and we'll do one more. We'll find one more bit of news before we're up. New UK mobile network reveals EE and Vodafone with cheap data and roaming. Well, that is good. New roaming perks coming your way. O2, E3, and Vodafone have a new rival to watch out for. Revolt Mobile confirms it's starting to roll out across the UK. Every now and again, an upstart comes along, manages to secure a few masks and get in contact and cause a little bit of havoc for the mobile phone companies, but it'll work out even better for the likes of me and you. Personally, I run off of an old phone and I just get a SIM from Sky Mobile. Now that deal started off at like £7.50 a couple of years ago, and it wasn't enough for me to roam freely on the internet. So what I then have to do is I have to get it up a little bit. Well, I picked it up to 12.50. Then a few months later, that's not giving me enough. It's jongling along. Like there's nothing worse than being at the local shops and you want to put your banking app up and you can't get to your banking app so you can transfer your money to make a payment. It's just horrible, and that's a horrible situation to be in. You're there, the food's in front of you, and you don't know if you're going to eat because the internet isn't good enough to let you on the on there. So I upped it again, and now I'm spending £20 a month just for my phone and my data off of Sky Mobile. Well, personally, I think Sky are having me over a little bit there. I think it's an awful lot of money. So I think competition in the mobile phone sector is only going to be a really good thing for anyone. If another company, if Revolt Mobile do come out and they do now put the other companies under a little bit of pressure, I think that'll be brilliant for the likes of me and you, who really do need to start negotiating with the mobile phone companies anyway, because I think we are rawly being had over on the mobile phone data. Let's be honest, we're being had over good and proper. And with that, I think it's a wrap. I've gone close to 14 minutes now. It's been a good little practice run. Good little practice run. Please keep an eye out for more content on the Philip Pole channel. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. And I'll be back again, hopefully tomorrow, with another one of these videos. Thank you very much.